Hi folks, welcome back. It's been a little bit. As you can see, the black flies are out. They're what I call the pre-biters. That means out of the 100 or so that are flying around, probably 2 or 3 will bite. So almost time for the fly dope, right? So I am up in my garden. The peepers are doing their thing. Right behind me is the hops trellis that I had to redo because of the wind and the ice and snow load. So what I decided to do was to put a 2x4, a 2x2 on top, and a 2x2. Where am I? I don't even know where I am. Right there, and 2x2 up top. I still have to ream that birdhouse out to make it a little bit bigger for the robins. So the black flies are very curious. And there's plenty of them swarming around my head. Haven't gotten bit since I've been in the garden, so that's a good thing. So I am taking a break. I am done for the day. I was introduced to what I am drinking right here. And I don't drink much beer at all, folks, but somebody recommended this, and I heard it's pretty good. It's made in Maine. It's Allagash white beer, Belgian style wheat. Beet with beer with coriander and orange peel. Let's see what the from Maine with love, independent brewers since 1995, and the alcohol content is, well, that's strange. It's upside down. Some of the writing is upside down. The alcohol content is 5.2%. So that's way more than enough for me. But it's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm thankful that they encouraged me to grab this. And it's not cheap either, folks. It comes in a 4-pack for over $14. I just was blown right away. So I figured that I would try one, and if I didn't like it, well, I get company, right? So, but I like it. But this is a 16 fluid ounce, and it's way more than what I'll drink. So I've been really busy. I'm sitting in my wicker chair that I keep right up in the garden year round. It's very old, but it's in really good shape. It's holding up, no fraying, no nothing, and it's pretty comfortable. So I have gotten as far as turning about probably 1/8 of my raised beds, and have taken the decomposed chicken litter and put it on top just before the rain yesterday, or was it the day before? I don't know, folks. I've been doing about everything. So either yesterday or the day before, I think it was yesterday, and laid it on top, mixed it in a little bit with my fingers, and let the rain work it down in. I wished I had all the beds turned so I could have put the compost on all the beds, but I haven't gotten that far, folks. But I did get my hops trellis done, and all I did was, I'm cutting brush and trees anyway. So what I did was, when I came across the pole about the right length, I would just put it up there. It'll work. It's all hardwood. And well, one of them is an alder, only because I was getting really tired, and it was the right length and right size, and I didn't have to cut it because it was cut from last year. So I just put it up there. I know that one will have to be replaced by next year. So everything is good. Both mamas are sitting on their goose nest. Another couple of weeks, we should start nearing the hatching stage for mama goose in the run, outside run. And I've had a major fox issue, not only myself, but cousin Shay up the road has had the same fox. It's a monster of a fox, folks. It's one of the bigger foxes I've ever seen. And its tail, this time of year, the male's tail are really fluffy anyway, but I swear to God, it's this big around. So that's been around. It's been pretty bold, and it has cleaned me out to 9 birds. So what I have done is I have cleaned out the back run behind the coop, which is bigger than the goose pen, the goose run, and clean that out and fix that, and all the birds can go from the coop right into the back run as they choose. So, right, fox. I like I said, I'm down to 9 birds total, folks. Cousin Shay has lost several birds, and a guy through the woods who told me that there was a fox issue and a bear issue up his way. One of the last few storms that we had. I think he lost all, if not most, of his birds. So, what happens, if you all don't know, is a male fox will go out hunting and bring the food back to the female with the pups or cubs. What are they, pups? I think they're pups. The baby foxes, the babies. And he will feed them so she can tend to the babies in the den. So he's been quite busy. So it's a brave fox. It's been in the yard. It's been around my doorsteps. And I've seen it coming out of the chicken coop before I closed up all the birds. So my birds should be pretty safe right now. Of course, a weasel can get in. It's pretty hard to keep a weasel out, right? So anyway, everything has been really busy. It's a busy time of year for most people who garden and thinking about getting their firewood and just getting ready for summer. So it's a really busy time of year for most. I've noticed that most of the homestead channels that I do watch have cut way back on their content. I can see why, because they're right out straight, and when they stop at the end of the day, they're dragging themselves through the door. Yeah. So, I guess I've got a lot of cleanup in my garden still. I have all raised beds here, but the boards that I made the raised beds out of were popple boards that were discarded from our mill up the road. So they would just discard, so they were cheap enough. I took some sheetrock screws. I really like sheetrock screws for outdoor stuff because they really have a nice grip. I took 2-inch sheetrock screws and took a 2x2 on a corner, on the inside corner, and put the corners of the boards together. It's held up for about 8 years, but now most of them are pretty well dilapidated, so I'm saving the screws, and the boards are pretty well rotten. So those will just go in a big pile somewhere out of the way to finish decomposing. I do not believe I will make any more frames for my raised beds. I think what I will do, which was the intended purpose to begin with, make that so the soil is good and will basically hold its own shape unless we get a major long-term downpour. But I still think it's going to be pretty good, and just have the raised beds without frames. Now, I started that last year and they held up really well. Even with all the rain that we had, nothing washed away. So that's really good. So I hope you've all been well. it's been awfully busy, folks, and I've still got some more transplanting to do. I've got some more propagating to do. I did cut my comfrey roots into 2-inch sections and have them rooting in. I have another compost, a 3-tier compost bin up here. Well, it's 3 sections, and I turned that the other day. That's just garden waste. Those 3 compost bins, and turned that over and just put the hops, not the hops, but the comfrey cuttings, the rootings in the dirt about 1 inch deep. We got all that rain, so that everything is good. They should be coming up within the next week or so. I took some hops cuttings and from the roots. My goodness, folks, since I cut those trees, you can hear every single vehicle that goes by. I took some hop root cuttings, and those have been in dirt for a couple of weeks. They're starting to poke through. I'm in front of my hops bed here. That is all done, all set and all ready. The only thing I've got to do is ream that. Where is that? Ream that hole out in that bird nest, and this area will be completely done. The grapes are behind there. Those are all done. The hops are done, and I'm just working on my garden raised beds. I fixed a lot of trellises. I've got one that I've still got to straighten up, and one that fell over during one of the last windstorms. I'm just going to take some T-post and anchor that on both ends, and that should be good. But it's still going to be over a month before I can get most of my seeds in the ground. I have started some seeds. Folks, not a one has come up. I started it in a combination of compost and dirt or soil. So I know it's good germinating soil. I know the seeds are good. None of them have popped up yet. So I might have to restart those, and some of those are peppers and tomatoes, and it's getting pretty late to start either one of them for up here this time of year. So we'll see how that goes. So everything has been good. Everything has been really, really, really busy, folks. I'm sure a lot of you know how busy it is in the spring because you're busy as well. And for those of you who are not busy, I'm jealous a lot of days. So I can see where I missed some garlic. I can see where I missed some onions. Those are coming up from last year, so I'll have to do something with those. But all in all, everything is good, folks. You know, and I'm not talking about people my age and older. I'm talking about any young people that feel that they want to homestead. They need to be told the truth about how busy it is. They need to learn a lot of skills, and they have to come to an understanding in their mind that there's no room for excuses, no room whatsoever for excuses to get what you want done or any planning done. If you're young and healthy and want it bad enough, you'll find a way, right? We know that some people fantasize and dream without any action, and years down the road they still fantasize and dream, and then when they get older they said, well, I always wanted to do that but never did, and they have regrets, right? So I don't allow myself to go there. I don't allow myself to go there because I am a hard worker, but more than a work ethic, I have a drive, and I have a want to get things done the way I want. So, and I'm pretty hard on myself because I keep wanting more. I swore last week that for everything that I transplanted, I swore this was it. This is the last year to expand, the last year to propagate, the last year to transplant, because I was tired. But I know next year, halfway through the winter, I'll start planning and say, well, I have these nut trees, but I'd really like to have another nut tree over here of a different variety. And I don't like pears because of the texture, and I have never liked cherries. But I know I know I'll get one, probably at least one variety, and get a pear, because I know of others on this road who like both those. So we'll see. We'll see. My priority for doing for others years down the road is not my immediate priority. That's a once everything is done or slowing down, then I'll consider doing that, right? Blood, sweat, and tears for somebody else to enjoy. I don't mind doing that, but if it puts me behind, I'm just not going to. So, I hope you've all been well. This is pretty good beer, folks. Expensive, but it's pretty good. It says, this I found interesting. It says, if you were to go to a bar, which I've only been to a bar once in my entire life, and that was because I was working, and then there was a gathering. I didn't have anything to drink, folks. I went. I thought the music was too loud. Back then, you were allowed to smoke in these bars, and the smoke was so thick, folks, that I swear to God, you could take a knife and cut it and push that square out so you can see the person you're talking to, or they're talking to you. That was my only experience, that it was loud and it was way too smoky. But that, like I said, that was probably over 20 years ago. I just don't personally have a reason to go. But if you were to get this Allagash White Maine brewed at a bar, I was told that they will put a slice of lemon in there, which makes it even better. I don't know, folks. I'm not that fancy. So this is what I am enjoying. I can see it must have some sort of niacin in it, because I can feel my face getting flushed, and I've only had 3 sips total. So dandelion wine does the same thing to me. So I think it's not a beer for me. I like my homemade beer anyway. But anyway, I am rambling. I did get a comment that my last video was boring. Well, don't watch. That's just all I got to say about that. Just don't watch, folks. Don't even bother commenting. So, and then somebody had asked me, living the way I do is full-time. What do I do to relax? Well, this right here is what I am doing tonight to relax. Out, there's no breeze. There's a chill in the air. It was sunny today. It's probably in the 50s right now. The bugs are out, but I'm sitting in my garden. I don't have my feet in water. It's pretty dry up here. I am sitting in a very comfortable wicker chair, and I am drinking a beer, folks. So that is something that I do every once in a while, to sit and enjoy. And besides the traffic going on out there, it's pretty relaxing. I can hear the peepers. And life is good, folks. Life is good. I deserve this beer. I deserve to be sitting down, relaxing. I deserve to have a good night's sleep tonight. So you all be well. Thank you for stopping by. And my goodness, it's 20 minutes. Bye-bye.